All right, welcome back to the light. We are here at the Climate Change Conference in, I almost said Newark, in New Brunswick. And I'm here with, Maria Lopez Nunez. You want to tell everybody where you're from and what it is you do?
I'm from Honduras in Central America, but I live in Newark, New Jersey. And I am the Director of Environmental Justice and Community Development at the Ironbound Community Corporation in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay, so a quick question. When I've heard of environmental justice before, and the first thing I thought about it when I heard that term, oh, they ain't talking about me.
Well, there's actually a big division between the environmental movement and the environmental justice movement, because the environmental justice community is people of color, low-income people, so it's Black, Latino, Indigenous folks, Asian folks, everybody really who's not white and who's not rich, right? Because there are poor white people from Appalachia with us. And it's really about the marginalized and ignored communities who bear the brunt of pollution, who bear the brunt of climate change. We're the ones who are going to be the first affected, so we have the solutions, really, our communities, and we need to start seeing it that way. The communities who are most affected, who are the most vulnerable, who have to deal with other social issues like bad schools, police brutality, bad infrastructure, low access to jobs. We're the ones who also have to deal with the coming climate change.
Indeed. During the conference, you brought out the point that in our communities, we're already preoccupied with education, police brutality, and so climate change is almost an afterthought until you think about several aspects. I know what those aspects are because I just sat in the conference, but can you tell us about the aspects of climate change that do affect people of color on a regular basis, and we may not be thinking, oh, you know what, that's due to the climate changing?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing is definitely kids who have asthma. In our communities of color, we have higher rates of asthma than other communities. So in Newark has one of the highest asthma rates in New Jersey. 1 out of 4 kids has asthma in Newark. And just talking to people in our community, anytime I ask anybody knows someone or have asthma in this room, most of the hands go up, So when we think about climate change and the fact that things are getting hotter, we're going to think about more days that make it difficult to breathe. When we think about the pollution in our neighborhood combined with the heat that's coming, we have to think about the way it smells. Because sometimes it smells bad in Newark and people think that's just like the litter or the garbage on the street. And it's not just a garbage truck. It's actually, Newark is home to the state's largest garbage incinerator. Newark is home to a sewage treatment plant, right? So you think about the waste of 3 million households, it's getting processed in Newark. Newark's not that big, so clearly it's processing more than its share. We also have a Newark Energy Center, which is a natural gas plant, but that's still pollution. That is still a fossil fuel, and we need to recognize that for what it is. So when we think about the way it smells in our neighborhood, that's climate change. When we think about the flooding and the fact that there will be more rain coming our way and our infrastructure is not prepared to do that, that's climate change. When we think just all these things that make it difficult on a day-to-day basis, they don't feel pressing, but every day they just make it a little bit harder.
Wow. Okay. So next to last question. I'm a bus driver, a teacher, I'm a radio personality. I don't own a treatment center or garbage or a landfill. What can I do to make sure that my niece can breathe a little bit easier tonight when she goes to bed? Because that's what my listeners are concerned about.
Yeah, and that's why we need to push for better treatment of the city of Newark and places like us, right? So there are often permit hearings that we ask people to come to. Actually, Covanta's having a permit renewal, and that's what the state has to give permission for these facilities to pollute in our neighborhood. So when these things come up, when people are proposing new facilities in our neighborhood, we need to fight back, and we need to become organized as a community ready to defend itself. A community that goes out to these hearings that says, I don't want that, who pressure our councilmen and our mayor who try their best, but we need to keep pressuring them and keep pressuring at the state level so that Newark does not become a dumping ground, so that our truck drivers actually are exposed to so much diesel pollution from their engines. We need to pressure the Port Authority to make sure that they get new trucks and that it's not on the truck driver to pay for that, that it's actually the Port Authority that pays for that, because we always want to make sure we're taking care of the workers when we do this, and that the jobs we're fighting for, they're good jobs, because sometimes we're offered warehousing jobs that is just temp work, it's bad conditions, we've seen all those reports, and at the end of the day, they're not a path forward, so we can't accept just the lowest bar. We need to say, yes, we need jobs, and we need good jobs, just the day-to-day things, but there's 1,000.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. You have me ready to go out and fight the power, which is great. Last question: if people want to get more information about environmental justice, what's a good way? What's a good contact? A website, phone number, anything like that?
Yeah. So, the Ironbound Community Corporation, even though people think we just do work in the Ironbound, when we fight for environmental justice issues, we're fighting for the whole city of Newark, we're fighting for the whole state to be the model and to be leaders. So you can contact the Environmental Justice Corporation. Our website is ironboundcc.org, and when you go there, look for the Environmental Justice Department and contact us directly. So you can always ask for Maria Lopez. There's a lot of Maria, so you got to be specific. Maria Lopez Nunez, and I'll always be there to answer any questions or to tell people how they can get involved.
Thank you so much for your time.